Hello there. Welcome to Sanity We Run Ads, where we discuss programmatic advertising, ad tech, and performance marketing. In this video, we are going to discuss about 8 things you need to remember before you decide on your 2022 digital marketing strategy. We know that by the nature of digital marketing industry, it's always evolving and it's always changing. This is primarily because how people and users interact with different social media platforms and digital platforms, as well as how their behavior changes on internet. From one survey, 42% of the respondents reported that before they go to a restaurant for the first time, they check their Instagram page. Another survey done by another hotel showed that 28% of the users who booked a staycation in the first half of the year came to know about them using TikTok or Instagram Reels. Now, on top of all this changing user behavior, we also see that there are a lot of changes that these big companies announced in the last 1 or 2 years. For example, the war between Facebook and iOS, which led to issues in tracking and attribution on Facebook platform on all Facebook campaigns, as well as Google declaring that they will not accept any third-party cookies on Google Chrome going forward. This all has led to a lot of changes in digital marketing ecosystem, and we need to adapt our strategies if we want to run efficient campaigns and profitable campaigns. So in this video, I have selected 8 top points, actionable points, which you need to consider before you put a strategy together for 2022. These 8 points will not just help you to scale up your digital marketing game, but also ensure that your digital marketing strategy is future-proof with the anticipated changes. Our first point is go broad in targeting. Now, all of you might be aware that we all saw that there was a huge impact from the iOS update. Now we are not able to track efficiently on Facebook, as well as the costs have went up, whether it's CPM, CPCs, or cost per leads. So we cannot wait for all this to get even worse. So we have to adapt our strategies to minimize the impact of all these changing going around. So in Google specifically, my tip is to use expanded targeting. There's a new feature called targeting expansion, which basically is a improved feature of what we used to call similar audiences before, but similar audiences used to work only for first party data. Now this targeting expansion will work even for Google data, which is affinity and in-market. So basically, if you create a campaign targeting to certain in-market, affinity, and even include first party data, if you use targeting expansion, this expansion or Google will find similar audiences based on the whole data, including affinity and in-market. Now this will ensure that with third-party cookies going away, your reach is expanded as well. And at the same time, you can leverage the Google's algorithm to find you new audiences and run profitable campaigns. The second tip for Google would be try to get familiar more with in-market and affinity audiences provided by Google, as well as test them more often so that you understand that which ones are working for your business and which ones are not, because this is going to be the most common targeting strategy going forward. The same applies for Facebook. We used to test a lot of ad sets. For example, we used to have an interest and behavior ad sets and separate it. So we would club together different interests and behaviors in one ad set and create another ad set with different interests and behaviors. Then we will test different ad sets with, let's say, lookalike modeling with 1% matching, 3% matching, 10% matching, and again have remarketing audiences separately for tag-based audiences and our custom audiences. Now, with what's happening within Facebook and the impact we have seen, I spoke to a lot of colleagues and some technical account managers at Facebook. It looks like the only way to go forward is to simplify your campaign structure. For example, club together similar audiences. When I say that, what I mean by this is create a campaign and create, let's say, 3 ad sets within that campaign. Put all the interest and behavior in one ad set, put all the lookalike audiences in one ad set, and put all the remarketing audiences in one ad set. Now, this will definitely limit your learnings you can get from your campaigns, because before you would see that, okay, when I create lookalike audiences with 1% match rate, it performs better than 3% match rate. But now you will not be able to do that. Learnings will be limited, but at the same time, you will save a lot on spillover budgets and overlapping audiences. So after discussion and even testing, I have come to this conclusion that you have to simplify your campaign structures and merge together similar targeting strategies in one ad set. This leads us to our second point, which is kind of similar to what we discussed in the point one, and it is leverage smart bidding. With what is going on, Facebook, Google, and other companies have already been working on the plans that how to ensure that they have the least impact on performance of the campaigns on their platforms, because more than 90% of the revenue Facebook generates every year is from advertising, and almost same figures for Google as well. So this is even more important for them, that people still run campaigns on their platforms, which will only happen if people are still able to generate efficient and profitable campaigns on their platform. Now, with what all is going on, it will definitely have an impact. So they have been working on their platforms. Now they have massive data. So what Google and Facebook both recommend is using more of automatic bidding strategies which leverage their AI and algorithm data. For an example, if we talk about Google Ads, in the recent years, they launched performance campaigns, they launched smart shopping campaigns, local campaigns, and other types which cater to a specific need of a customer. So you need to look at which of them smart campaigns and smart goals are relevant to your business and start using and testing them. Now, the only drawback here is these, when you try to move from your manual or standard campaigns to smart campaigns, it might take some time for the platforms to understand and learn about your business and what kind of customers engage with your business, but it is worth a try. Now, the good things about using smart campaigns and smart goals is they work for both small businesses and big businesses, whether you have a small budget or a big budget. Now, the other way to look at it is these smart campaigns save a lot of time and energy as well. Now, if you are a small advertiser, if you have a budget, then you need to first decide that how much budget will go to search campaigns, how much budget will go to display campaigns, discovery and native, and YouTube campaigns. However, if you try to leverage performance marketing campaigns, you don't have to worry about that, because you upload all the assets, you upload the budgets and your goal, what your goal is, whether it's leads, sales, or whatever. Google will automatically adjust the budgets within each format, so it will save a lot of time, energy, and your resources. Now, this leads us to our next point, which is automation is not optional anymore. Now, I know that creating any kind of automation in your digital marketing strategy or your digital marketing stack is not easy. A lot of people shy away from this because it is a lot of work for some companies, and creating an automation in your digital marketing strategy, whether you are a B2B client or B2C client, it can prove beneficial for you. Now, to give you an example, I receive Amazon newsletters. Now, whether it serves any sales benefits for Amazon or not, but one thing is for sure, I definitely feel that I am part of the Amazon community. Now, another example I would like to give is I also receive a newsletter from eToro, which is like a trading platform. The good thing about their email automation is every time I receive an email, I feel like this email has been written just for me. So it kind of creates a connection and engagement between me and the brand, which is a really important metrics when it comes to digital marketing. Now, at the same time, if we talk about B2B companies, now usually the B2B companies, the sales cycle is long. From the day you generate a lead and until a sale, the duration is usually long. Now, keeping this long duration in mind, you need to constantly keep engaging with that particular lead, and that can easily be done using email automations. Now, the good thing about email automation is if you have a proper content and funnel strategy, you can create a customized journey for every individual user, which is personalized for that particular user. Now, to give you an example, I have a newsletter for which people opt in from my blog, they opt in from my YouTube channel, or when they buy my courses. Now, if I do not use any email automation, I can send newsletters every time to the updated users who opted in for my newsletter. However, if I leverage email automation, what I can do is I can create a journey for each of these three type of people who opted for my newsletter and start with a particular journey, that this is the email they should receive on the first day, this is the email they should receive on the third day, and every week, so that every user can be introduced and engaged with my brand in a particular way I decide. Now, when we talk about automations in digital marketing, it's not just the email automation. There is a lot of things you can do. For example, you can test custom bidding. You can test responsive ads. That's also automation. By the way, by July 2022, Google will deprecate the extended search ads as we knew them from day one. Like we used to upload 3 headlines, we used to upload 2 descriptions. and run our search campaigns. That's going to be deprecated, and the only option we will have is responsive ads. You upload multiple assets, multiple headlines, descriptions, and Google will automatically check the best combinations and serve them more often. So you need to find that what components in your digital marketing stack you can automate and make your processes even more efficient and save your time. Now this leads us to our next point, which is don't spread your budgets and efforts too thin. What I mean by that is every platform has a different vibe and people go to that platform for that particular vibe. Now, if I go to Instagram, if I go to YouTube, or if I go to TikTok, every time I am looking for a different content on each of these platforms. Now, I am the same user, but when I go to each of these platforms, I'm looking for a different type of content that matches with the vibe of that platform. Now, a mistake what a lot of companies do is they create a piece of content, whether it's images, whether it's videos, and they publish it on all of their platforms. Now, if you ask them why do they do it, they say that, see, this is my audience, and they go to TikTok and they go to Instagram as well. But we have reached a point in digital marketing where it's not about your audience and the platform you choose, because that audience consumes media from there. The point really has become that whether you are reaching the right audience on the right platform with the right message, and all of them are in sync. Now, in terms of organic content strategy, you really need to decide that what will be the content pillars on each of the platform. For example, my main hero channel is YouTube. Most of the content I create, almost everything I create, is for YouTube. Now, if I decide to be active on my Instagram as well as on my TikTok as well, I cannot post my long form content on these platforms as well. For Instagram, probably I will publish pictures about my work desk, if I change anything in my work desk, or pictures about behind the scenes of the videos. And on TikTok, probably I will adjust or adapt the content I have and squeeze it in with, like, let's say 5 facts you need to know about digital marketing. And within 1 minute with flashy information, I updated that. So really, like, even if it's the same content, but you have to at least adapt it to each of the platform, which suits and resonates with the vibe on that particular platform. Now, when it comes to paid media, people again do the same mistake. Like, you are a business and you are running a paid media campaign. People, what they do is they allocate budgets and spread it across different platforms, even in case when they have limited budgets, which you really don't need to do it. Every company needs to understand their hero channels, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, and you need to focus on those channels, or 90% of the budget should go to these hero channels. Do not spread your budgets and efforts too thin and on all platforms. You need to understand which platforms are worth investing your money and efforts on. Now, talking about channels, this leads us to our next point, which is leverage YouTube and create an organic strategy for YouTube. To give you an idea, there are 3 billion searches done every month on YouTube worldwide. In terms of number of searches done, YouTube is bigger than AOL, Yahoo, as well as Bing. YouTube has almost become a second Google. People search a variety of stuff there. For example, how to tie a knot. YouTube has become almost second Google. People search for a variety of stuff there, about how to tie a knot, some complicated stuff about microeconomics, and even what is the best postpaid plan in UAE. So when you look at YouTube with that perspective, that YouTube has a component, a search component as well, so you clearly understand that the content strategy companies used to have to create a blog to drive traffic to their websites, which in turn increase their sales. You have to look at YouTube in the same way. However, YouTube is not easy. You need a lot of efforts and money to create content. But if you can, this is definitely something you should consider. This leads us to our next point, which is collect email addresses and phone numbers. Now, the easiest way advertisers used to collect the audience data was cookies is going away. So we need to look at alternatives and rich sources of collecting first-party data. When talking about resources of first-party data, probably there's nothing better than collecting emails and phone numbers. So, but it does not just stop there. Once you collect first-party data like email addresses and phone numbers, you need to have a strategy for email marketing as well as probably WhatsApp campaigns. In my experience as well, I have seen in recent past that email marketing also works if you have right email marketing strategy in place. But one thing you have to understand is, like another channel, you don't have to be salesy, because these two channels are really personalized. So you don't have to be salesy. You have to kind of find a balance that how to keep your audiences engaged as well as have a sales component as well. And if you want to do email automation, there are a lot of tools in the market, and most of the tools are free until a particular limit. For example, I have been using system.io for the recent past. I'll put a link in the description below if you just want to try it for free. So do check on the link and create an account and create some kind of funnels, email automation rules to get used to it if you are not already doing that. Now, this leads us to our next topic, which is digital marketing audit. Now, in digital marketing, it's really difficult to understand whether you are doing a good job, bad job, or an amazing job. You cannot rely on only CPLs and CPCs for your campaigns to understand how you're doing. So in order to understand where you stand in terms of digital maturity for your team or your organization, as well as try to understand what are the new opportunities you have to take to kind of increase your digital maturity and make your digital marketing strategy future-proof, I would suggest to go for Google Digital Maturity Benchmark. It is a framework created by Google and in association with BCG, which is Boston Consulting Group, which is basically a questionnaire you have to fill. They ask you a lot of questions about how you use your ads, how you use your first-party data, how you use different targeting strategies in terms of organization, and there are some questions about how you track, how you report on your digital marketing campaigns. And once you fill that survey, at the end of it, it will give you a score in terms of digital maturity from 1 to 4, like 4 being digitally mature, 1 being nascent, and it will also give you the benchmarks of digital maturity within your industry and your competition. So the good thing about this report is after you get your scores, they also tell you what are the opportunities if you want to increase your score. So you basically, from these recommendations, create different projects, assign it to people in your team, and once you're done with each of these projects, you can reassess your digital maturity and it will tell you the score after you have completed any of these projects. Now, this is a great tool which helps you to basically understand the opportunities and create your goal to becoming digitally more mature, which will in turn help you to make your digital marketing strategy future-proof. The last point we have in this video is use LinkedIn while you can. Now, you might be aware that with every day passing, Facebook and Instagram organic reach reduces. The organic reach on Facebook and Instagram is probably around 1%, which used to be higher before. Now, in the current times, if you want exposure for your brand on platforms like Facebook and Instagram, you probably will need a lot of support from your paid media because the organic reach has diminished a lot. However, this is not the case with LinkedIn. Sometimes you can post or publish something on LinkedIn and you will have higher reach than your follower base. Now, definitely in the near future, the same thing is going to happen to LinkedIn as well, where the organic reach really reduces. But at the moment, you have to use this opportunity on LinkedIn to get organic reach for your brand and business. On the other hand, if you are a freelancer or a consultant or a small consulting business, probably LinkedIn is the hero channel for you. Don't focus on a lot of platforms and spread your efforts thin. LinkedIn has, in my experience, proven the hero channel for a lot of consulting small businesses, freelancers, and creating your personal brand. And also, I would like to mention here, because it's somehow related, that a lot of people in the recent past have been talking about that the myth is busted that TikTok is only for teenagers. It's not the case. TikTok has been generating results for other businesses as well. That's what a lot of people have claimed in the recent past. Unlike Facebook and Instagram and like LinkedIn, TikTok generally has higher organic reach as well. So it's definitely a platform that you can test. That's all the points we have for this video. And I hope this adds any value to your digital marketing strategy and you're able to test any of this in your strategy. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next one.